What's up? It is Tim Sykes, and I have another video lesson talking about the biggest trap in the stock market right now. Yesterday's video lesson, the feedback was incredible, where I exposed Robinhood and why it's so dangerous to have an account there. So today I want to talk about another big trap that a lot of people fall for. Before I get into that, I got to mention that these sales are ending in just 24 hours from the time that I post this video lesson. Tim Alerts on sale for a little over $300 for the year. You get access to the chat room, alerts, commentary, watch lists, and Penny Stocking Silver is a little over $500 for the year for just 24 more hours. I'm exhausted. Forgive me. We've extended the sale. We've answered thousands of email questions. My team and I are exhausted. We can't do it anymore. So this is your final opportunity to lock in these prices. This is for new students only. If you're already a monthly or annual student, you don't need to do anything. Although monthly students can upgrade to annual subscriptions, and you lock in these prices for life. But 2016 is all about quality over quantity. A lot of new students, they just keep asking one question at a time, and they just don't have the right mindset. They think that it's all about like, oh, I just want a hot penny stock pick. That's going to change my life. And I'm like, no, not any one trade or any one pick is going to change your life. It's strategy. It's long-term education. And they just don't get it. So hopefully increasing the prices will weed out some of the riffraff. I really think that you guys should all be Penny Stocking Silver students at least, because you have access to a 3,500 plus video lesson library that Tim Alerts doesn't have. But you guys all have access to the chat room, and you can choose whatever is best for you, but no more extensions. Let's talk about a few comments that I got, first of all, in response to yesterday's video. Before I talk about the biggest trap in the stock market right now, just read this. I'm going to read it out loud because this is crazy. Alpha says, I put a few hundred to try Robinhood for going long. I bought shares of LPTH for a breakout, but it actually turned out to be a fake out. And when I tried to cut losses quickly, Robinhood made me first fill out some required survey before I could exit the position. But then the platform wouldn't let me complete the survey and kept giving me an error. By the time I could get out, LPTH was down 50 cents a share. I am wiring out ASAP. I agree with Tim. Robinhood is the worst broker. Stay away. And then Compfire says this, completely agree with Robinhood assessment. I got burned on a perfect trade setup because their app threw up errors while I was trying to sell from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. So I was locked out. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing, but I hear so many comments like this. Robinhood is a new app. It's a new technology. It's a startup. There's going to be tons of errors. And the problem is that they have free commissions, so they need to make money somehow. So I'm not surprised that they're requiring some survey, because I'm sure that they're going to sell, the survey results to some third party, and they're going to say, oh, look, we might not charge commissions, but now we have access to hundreds of thousands of traders, and we can put out surveys and get their answers. And that interferes with trading, you dumbasses, okay? Robinhood, why would you do that, And I'm sure they don't mean to, First of all, they probably don't give a shit about penny stock traders like 99.9% of the world does. Not. So they really just are in this trying to make a business out of it. And this is a very big problem, okay? So let me talk about the number one trap that I see right now. And I'll explain this because it's kind of tough to explain, but I think it's worth delving into. Trap mindset. Trying to save pennies will cost you millions and your future over time. How does that happen? You're taught to be frugal, clip coupons, save, right? Look, I'm having a big sale. It's good to invest right now because we're having this big sale. So there's a very fine line. Okay, take advantage of the sale, but understand what you're getting into. The reason why we only have a sale on the yearly newsletter is because I want you learning over the long term. You're not going to learn how to change your life within a few days or a few weeks or even a month or two. You're going to need to put some serious time and effort into studying video lessons, and you need to have that right mindset. But that is one thing. Trying to save pennies on like a broker, guess what? If you're trying to save $5 or $10 here or there on an execution, you're like, well, I do so many trades per month, I should try and save. And some people said, Tim, you brought up that there's no after hours trading. What if you're a day trader? You brought up that there's no short selling. What if you don't want to short? Well, here is your problem. Even if you are just going long intraday, there's going to be bad executions or errors. And that's not just going to save you $5 or $10. That's going to cost you, $50, $100, $500, $2,000. I don't know what position sizes you guys take. I don't know what errors you're going to have. But you're risking losing so much more to save $5 or $10. If I had a choice, and if you have a choice, you do have a choice, and I have a choice too. If you want to, let's say that there's going to be a problem. So that you're either going to lose, $5 or $10 on some commissions, or most of the time you'll be okay, but you might lose $500 or $1,000 or $5,000. Which would you choose? For me, I would choose to lose $5 or $10 on commissions every few trades because I know what my risk is. And that's what I do with E-Trade and Interactive Brokers. And if they screw up, guess what? They're big billion-dollar companies, so you can complain and you'll probably win. With Robinhood, who are you going to complain to? It's like you're yelling at the homeless guy for selling you, used bottles of water, okay? Who are you going to complain to? He's homeless. So Robinhood is like the homeless man trying to sell you used bottles of water on the street. You get what you pay for, and you can't complain because you're not paying anything. That's the problem with free and cheap. So let me talk about this trap number 1. Free and cheap newsletters cost you more in the long run due to misinformation and erroneous information. I should add, and errors. Okay? When you try and cheap it out, you can't expect too much in return. There's a lot of free penny stock newsletters going around. Some people who don't want to partake in education with me, they're saying, oh, Tim, I don't want to watch your video lessons or DVDs. I'm just going to learn on my own. Everything you teach is available for free. And I say, fine, be my guest. Remember, no one else has as many millionaire students as I do. I show all my trades. If you go with these free newsletters, you don't know where they make their money, okay? Even free newsletters, especially penny stock newsletters, make their money somehow. And guess what? They rent out their email list. Their whole job, if you ever sign up to a free newsletter on the internet regarding penny stocks, where they don't actually have a business behind it, if they're just, quote, free, they are selling your email out to whoever pays because that is their business. And small penny stock companies will pay, and other companies will pay just for potential business. So if you try and cheap it out, you will end up being the one who pays. There's so many free newsletters, they have shitty picks. They don't tell you how to research. They don't show you how to become a self-sufficient trader. That's their business, is giving shitty information because guess what? You can't complain because you didn't pay for anything. What did you expect? Did you expect a free newsletter where you're going to get the best stock picks and you're going to have an amazing chat room and it's all going to be, roses? No. I'm sorry, but these prices that we charge for these newsletters, this is probably 1/10 of what we should be charging, okay? But at the same time, prices are going up because I want to weed out the riffraff, people who think that you should save $5 or $10 here. This kind of information can make you millions. And a lot of people say, oh, Tim, you only have a few millionaire students. Well, guess what? I also have dozens of people making 6 figures a year, hundreds of students making 5 figures a year. Even if you make $1,000, only $1,000, you have still doubled your investment with me, okay? That's pretty crazy, especially given the fact that I am teaching information. It's not even just about making money. I'm educating you. Think about what colleges do. They charge $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and then you still can't get a freaking job because, don't even get me started on that. Anyways, be very wary of free, cheap newsletters, free, cheap brokers, okay? You gotta pay up for quality. Trap number 2, free, cheap brokers cost you more in the long run due to bad executions and bad service. As you saw with these comments right here, okay? I don't know what the position size was on either of these, but I'm guessing that both of these people lost a few $100s, okay? And those are small positions because I'm sure that they're testing it out small. But if you add up bad executions and, even if there was no survey, even if their app didn't go down, you don't even know what a good versus bad execution is. I guarantee you that Robinhood gives worse executions than E-Trade and Interactive Brokers from what I've heard. because they are interested in making money somehow. They are a for-profit business. It is not Robinhood Foundation. That's a different charity based in New York. They're fantastic. Robinhood app is not for charity. It's a for-profit business. It is venture capital funded. And so they are going to make money however they can, whether it's through surveys or bad executions. And either way, it's going to cost you a ton more money than small commissions. Let me just show you two of my students. I'm very proud of these guys. I love it when you tweet at me or send me messages and you're really getting it. Here's GTQ Trader. His name is Emilio. He was his first week in the Tim Challenge. He made $830 and he had just $3,000. So he did not cheap it out. He invested in his education and it's paying off big time in his first week. Now don't get too cocky, Emilio. Not every week is going to be like this. But if you can make an extra $800 every week or two, every week, we're talking 40 grand a year. Every other week, we're still talking 20 grand a year. That is fantastic in your first year. And what a lot of people, some comments, 2,000 people like this, but some people were like, $800. Like, Tim, you're so proud about teaching somebody how to make $800? And I said, you're damn right. Because Emilio is just starting with very small positions. The same strategy that he used to make 800, guess what? Next year, when he's more comfortable with the patterns, and he can take bigger positions, he might make $8,000 on the same trade. And if you make $8,000 per week, that's pretty damn good. Maybe 80,000. Obviously, he's not going to make 8 million per week. There are limits, but it's scalable. And if you start small, there's only upside. And I've got to also give props to Sarah because she said she's had her best 2 weeks since she started learning, and the tweet got cut off, but roughly a year ago. So she's been studying. She had a great blog post a few days ago talking about how she went green on the year, and it's nothing huge yet, but they're both heading in the right direction. Small profits and education. That will help you out in the long run. So you can't just focus on trying to save a little money here or there. You have to focus on the big scale, the grand vision that you have, that we all have. Number 3, this is probably the biggest example of this stock market trap where, it traps people in who think that you can be cheap in the stock market and have massive success. Trap number 3, believing in cheap stocks will cost you everything, leaving you broke, poor, bitter, like nearly every penny stock investor is. I get so much hate whenever I bring up the word penny stock, or, you just think, oh, it's like Wolf of Wall Street, like he's, trying to lure you into buying these piece of shit companies. And the reality is, I frankly admit that these are piece of shit companies, and I frankly enjoy shorting them and betting against them more. But too many people don't even think like that. They just hate initially. And too many people who don't even hate, they fall in love with these stocks, this new technology that could revolutionize the world, and almost every single penny stock just goes to crap. All the marijuana penny stocks. I can't even tell you. I'm actually working on Spikeability right now, my DVD that is just taking forever, and it's going to be over 12 hours. It's on sale in the DVD sale. Oh, I should show you these. Here are the newsletters that are on sale. Here are mine, Tim Alerts and Penny Stocking Silver. And then here are the DVDs. And I am working on Spikeability right now, literally. And I was, where was it? ZDPY was one of the biggest marijuana penny stocks. And you can see here in so many just dumbass potheads. I'm sorry if you're a pothead, but a lot of potheads are just dumb. And I got thousands of emails of people saying, pot is going to be amazing. It never went to $3,000, by the way. It did a few reverse splits, but it did go up quite a bit. MDBX was another hot pot stock, and it went from 9 to 80. This actually did go from 9 to 80, and it's now 2 cents a share. What was the other one? GRNH. This was a penny stock that went from roughly 7 cents to over $1. I actually got a great short off here while I was on a Virgin America flight shorting, I think it was 75,000 shares or 100,000 shares. And I was so aggressive back in 2014. That was my biggest profit year ever. I made nearly $1 million. And it turned out I should have been far more aggressive with GRNH. But I want to show you these because I don't know if you were trading back in 2013, 2014, but there's so much love for these marijuana penny stocks. And, everyone said this time is different. Marijuana's getting legalized. It's going to be a big business. Whether you buy it at $1 or $2, it's going to be $100. Well, guess what? It wasn't different in that it's now trading at 2 cents a share. HEMP, this one went up to $3, and it's at 2.97 cents. MINE was another one. This went up. Again, they did reverse splits, so it never really went to $4. But I just want to show you the overall trend. And I got so much hate. There's a whole Men's Journal article about me warning about these marijuana penny stocks. And I was trying to tell this guy, the Wolf of Weed Street, who had made all this money going long here. And I was like, these are classic pump and dump charts, dude. Like, they're going to end up in the toilet. This is shit. And all shit gets flushed down the toilet. Yeah, I know. I'm very classy, right? But this is how penny stocks end up. So you can't just believe in them. This is a huge, huge trap, believing in these cheap stocks. I might buy a stock, okay? CDRB was one of my best calls ever on Friday, where it went from the 3s all the way to the 5s. I missed my executions in the 3s. I got it right at 4, but I never believed in it, okay? I always said, look, right now is January. We're buying morning spikes. That's the pattern that's working. But don't ever fall in love with this. And frankly, I didn't even want to buy it over the long weekend because, I wasn't a huge, huge fan of the news, the merger news. And also, I don't know what's going to happen with China. So I am very, very cautious when I buy. I'm buying very quickly for a quick hit. And I'll talk more about the sniper mentality in a video lesson tomorrow. But today, I really just want to warn you about this mentality where, getting free and cheap newsletters and brokers and cheap stocks and believing in it, it's going to cost you so much in the long run, okay? So don't make these mistakes that too many people do. This is what I think is the key. You must invest in yourself, in your education, in your future. Get the best newsletter. Get the best broker. Get out of the cheap mindset, or else you will always have to worry about money. It's kind of ironic. If you're always cheap and you're always like, oh, I don't want to pay for that, you're always going to be thinking small. And this is what Robinhood exploits, where they think, or they know that you think that it's better to pay 0 commissions and possibly lose hundreds or thousands of dollars on bad executions or software going down, because they're using you. No different than how a Vegas casino lures in all these people with the penny slot machines, and all people are like, whoa, this is great. I can just put in a penny and gamble, and this is great. Or I can, move up to the quote big leagues and bet $1 at a time and get free drinks. So even if I lose $50, hey, I'm getting $70 worth of drinks. That is the cheap mentality. That is the gambler's mentality. All small time thinking. Same thing with the Powerball jackpot. People who are buying $50, $100, $200, $500 worth of Powerball jackpot tickets, or 1,000 or 10,000, thinking, oh my God, I'm special. I can beat the odds. Listen, we are all special in our own ways, but there is no getting around the odds. Math doesn't just apply to a few people and not apply to the rest. It applies to all of us. Okay? I didn't buy any Powerball jackpot tickets. I know I'm weird, I'm not fun, but I'm trying to teach you the right mentality. And you need to think big. Okay? Let me just show you one of my things here on Instagram. I posted this a little while ago. I post my big stacks of cash because I want you to think big. My fiance's, getting some cool jobs as a model and actress. I've traveled the world, but there's one here. This is what I want to show you. This is my E-Trade account last year. The markets overall were roughly down 5%. If you look at all the major indices, it's down 5%. Even in a bull market, 70% of stocks drop. I think you probably don't know that, do you? CNBC, TheStreet.com, Kramer, they all want you to think it's all about stock picking. Stock picking is bullshit. Bull market are bullshit, okay? I love the fact that people made so much money in the bull market the past 7 years. I did very well. I had my best year ever in 2014, even though I'm a short seller primarily. In 2015, I started a little $30,000 account. I think this was probably my best percentage year ever. 30,000 into nearly 200,000 by year end compared to the S&P. And the S&P didn't even finish up 0.22. I took this stupidly the day before the end of the year. The S&P finished down 0.75%. But the point is that I'm thinking bigger. Okay, I'm not interested in making 5 or 10% or beating the S&P 500 by a few percentage like all of these people on CNBC and all these, mutual fund managers and hedge fund managers with their fancy suits and ties. They're trying to manage huge amounts of money and they're trying to beat the S&P 500. If you manage $1 billion and the S&P 500 is down roughly 1% on the year, and you manage $1 billion and you're up by 1% on the year, you're a hero. You're a goddamn hero on Wall Street just by beating the S&P 500. Because, 2% on $1 billion, that's not a small amount of money, that's $20 million. So you've done very, very well. If you make or lose 1 or 2% and you have 2,000 to your name, 5,000 to your name, 10,000, even 50,000 or 100,000 to your name, we're talking about the difference of a few $100. And you've wasted an entire year of your life. All of our lives are finite. You do not have a year to waste, especially with inflation at 3%. So unless you made 3% on the year, you actually lost money. So if you're spending any time and you're losing money on the year, you need to reevaluate. I understand most traders lose money, but most traders are not always constantly trying out new strategies. Most traders are not investing in their education. I know a lot of people who lost a lot of money shorting PBMD and KBIO recently. And I tell them, I wish you had seen my DVDs. I wish you had seen my video lessons. You might not have been such a gunslinger. And they're like, oh, stop trying to sell me DVDs, you bastard. And I'm like, I'm trying to sell you education. There's a difference. I'm not ashamed that I make DVDs. I'm not ashamed that I make video lessons. I'm damn proud of being a teacher. I'm damn proud of making 500% plus, even as I'm, alerting and giving commentary and answering questions, which hurts my overall trading performance. Understand that, because I'm multitasking. I'm not just a trader. I'm teaching. I trade in order to teach. So if I wasn't focused on my students most of the time, maybe I'll make 1,000%. I don't care whether I make 500% or 1,000%. I trade with a small account to show you what's possible. Every single one of you watching this can make 500% on your year or 1,000% on your year with enough study, with the right mindset. But don't you dare rip on education. Don't you dare try and cheap it out and get a free newsletter, because you only hurt yourself in the long run. And I hate that. Even my biggest hater, I wish great success for them. Okay? I want everyone to succeed, especially with penny stocks, especially if you put in effort. There's too many people that think of penny stocks as very similar to the lottery. And so they put in about as much research time as they do with the lottery, meaning none. They think it's just luck. They think that anybody who makes money in penny stocks is either luck or fraud. They don't think about option C, where it's strategy. So I want you to just think about this whole video lesson. I know it's a lot to take in. I know it's kind of weird, but do not have the trap mindset where you cheap out on your education, you believe in these cheap stocks, you believe in these cheap brokers. You need to go with quality. There's a reason why I have more millionaire students than anyone. There's a reason why I'm raising the prices on my newsletters next year or tomorrow. It already is this year. I'm exhausted right now because I'm answering so many freaking email questions and making these video lessons, all while trading and giving watch list and commentary. And I love it. I freaking love my job. But I gotta get you in the right mindset. It's not just about having the right stock picks. It's not just about having the right broker. It's about having the right mindset. Having the right broker helps. You can have the right strategy and the right mindset, but if your broker software is down, it don't matter. You're losing money, probably. So get out of this mindset. I know it's tough. I know that it's kind of weird because you're a penny stock trader. If you're even, looking at this, you want to trade cheap stocks, but don't fall in love with them. It's okay to just use them to try and grow your account. Don't fall in love with any cheap or free broker. You're just using your broker. Feel free to change your broker at any time. You're not married to your broker. This isn't a long-term commitment, okay? If the broker starts sucking, guess what? Don't use them anymore. If a cheap stock starts going down and you believe in the technology, guess what? Cut your losses. Don't become a bag holder. So that is today's lesson. The trap mentality exists all over in the stock market, in the newsletter business, in the broker business, in the stock market. And you can't fall for it. You got to be a sniper. And tomorrow I'm going to talk much more about the sniper mentality in guerrilla warfare. And I think that's the key to your success in 2016. But today, kind of a weird topic, but an important one. So again, by the time, I guess maybe I'll make my video lesson tomorrow morning to give you a few more hours so that you can take advantage of this sale. But no more extensions on this sale. I'm just tired, and my team is tired, and you've had your chance. So you either want to learn or you don't. Last chance. I hope you have a good Sunday, and I hope the NFL games are like the Packers game yesterday. Thank you.